How are you doing?
Hey, good. Good to see you.
I
How's it going?
know. It's been a hot minute since we last collabed, eh?
Yeah, a while, a while.
I know, that song was great. That was really fun. So, guys, if you haven't heard the song Irresistible, I'm gonna put my finger up here and I'll have the video play. There we go. Yeah, so if you haven't checked out her Instagram, check out her Instagram. She does great singing. She goes around to many different venues to go sing and play her guitar. So it's awesome. So let's talk about the backstory of the song. So I made this instrumental. It was originally called Galaxy at first, but then I wanted it to fit into my Seduction album. So I changed the name to Irresistible. And I sent this demo over to Rachel. But how did I do that? First, my mom, she went to one of Rachel's gigs apparently, and she sent me this video of Rachel singing very good and playing the guitar. And I was like, I need that person's Instagram. So she went up to Rachel. What did she say to you?
She said that her son does production and makes music and would love to do collaboration. I said, yeah, like just connect us. And I love doing collaborative work, so was very happy. Like, first of all, very happy that you liked seeing my work and my live gigging. I had a residency at a cocktail bar that your mom saw me at, and yeah, kind of went from there. He reached out, and yeah, I liked the sample that you sent.
Of course. Yeah. So after I got her Instagram, got her number, we did some FaceTime calls to figure out what exactly we're going to do. And I wanted the song to be a little less wordy, so I really only had basically 2 to 3 or 4 lines. And then I sent her some rough demos, and then we both wrote the lyrics somewhat together. Like I did a little bit, and she did the other little bit, and then we came to the conclusion of one step closer to me, your lips on mine, you are so irresistible. And then another awesome thing too is that in the beginning, Rachel did also add a really cool vocal piece in the beginning of like the Oz. Tell me, how exactly did you come across that? Like,
It was just, it seemed like it would fit in the song, and I love just vocal improv. I love improvising, and it seemed like it would work really well. And listening to your samples of your music, like I knew that you could probably do something with that. So I just sent you a ton of different like ideas of vocal improv, and you turned it into something really cool in the end.
yeah, no, that was really good. I didn't even ask for that. I was like, wait, this sounds so sick. So I knew I had to toss it into the beginning of the song and maybe toss it a little bit later in the breakdown part where before the verses just hit. And then let's talk about you a little bit. Like, how did you start singing? When did you start singing, and why?
So yeah, I mean, I kind of grew up in a musical family. I've kind of always been singing. I've actually mainly, my primary focus has been playing instruments, and singing was kind of secondary. I kind of just sang through at church through like middle school, high school, but never was like in a vocal class or had vocal lessons. I just kind of like self-taught, and then teaching music, I got better at it over time. But yeah, and the gigging thing, like playing and singing, has really made me get better. And yeah, I've been doing it, I don't know, every week ever since, for years and years.
That's awesome. That's actually really inspiring. That's pretty cool. So, if you want to be successful like Rachel, gotta keep on singing, gotta keep on practicing. Practice, practice, practice. Awesome. And then I was going to ask too, after when you first heard my pieces, when I put the song all together, what were your first thoughts when you first heard the full version?
I thought it was super cool. I honestly, I had the recording, and my husband was with me. I'm like, you should listen to this. This is like well put together. Like, because I've done several collaborative projects before, and sometimes, because again, I went to music school, so I have a lot of knowledge on theory and structure and things like that. Sometimes I do have to coach, another collaborator on how to structure things that make sense. But you already had those instincts of like when phrases and builds up work, or when they would work. And so, yeah, I was like, that's great. All I had to do was just send that. This was the easiest collaborative project I worked on, because I just had to send my vocals, and you already knew what to do with it.
Perfect. And then I was gonna say too, do you think we should do a future collaboration?
I think it would be cool. I would be up for it. Again, as I mentioned before, I have a little one on the way, so I'm actually taking a step back from my gigging, and I am working on my own EP. But
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be taking a step back from performing. But hey, if in the future you have a track that you think would be a good fit, I'd be happy to join in on it. And yeah, I think we could do something cool.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, tell me about, I don't know, how did you get into music? How did you start music?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in middle school, I used to be part of like this drum lineup for percussion, and I kind of figured out my way for percussion. Then I started playing on the drum kit, which was very fun. And eventually, one time I just kind of was browsing on YouTube. I found Kygo and Alan Walker. I was like, oh, these guys are like the GOATs. And they still are the GOATs. They're really good. Then I found like Avicii then, and then I found a bunch of electronic music, and then that's when I kind of started falling in love with it. So in 2020, obviously during the COVID-19 pandemic, I was in my room a lot, and then I just picked up a keyboard and started making melodies. I got FL Studio. I was really bad at first, but then eventually, over the years, I just got along. And then 5 years later, here I am now, making music, and also got to work with Rachel, which is amazing. And I've got some new collabs coming along the way. But yeah, it was definitely quite the journey.
That's awesome. I mean, there's definitely a learning curve to those production programs. So
a lot of YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, honestly. How frequently are you putting out tracks these days?
Ooh, frequently. I would say, production-wise, without being released, I would say like try to go for like once or twice a week. So it's very often, very fast. So whenever I try to make stuff, the burnout is real. So I try to go into like the forest or woods nearby, and then just trying to think of ideas. Being in nature just gives me so much ideas and inspiration. So I really just love to be in nature and then figure out a melody out there.
Yeah, but once a week, I mean, that's a lot of music, and doing that, and you've been doing this for a while now. I mean, again, ever since Irresistible, I've been seeing you put things out all the time, and it's really impressive. That's amazing, and I hope you keep up, because again, just like you said earlier, practice. The more that you make music, like the better it's gonna get, and I think your stuff is good already, so that's very cool to hear.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, I have one fun fact for both of us that I bet you didn't know. So, in Irresistible, do you know the stabs bum 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 right during the drop? You know what? At first, I had a completely different idea, but then I started tapping on the table to something random, and then I recorded it, and then I replaced it down on a MIDI notes, and then I just got a cool synth from Serum, and then that's basically our main lead part.
Oh, that's cool. That's
literally just
cool.
Me tapping on the table.
Honestly, sometimes ideas come to you like that. That's awesome.
For sure. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for joining the Zoom call. Thank you so much for this interview. Very glad to talk with you, and very proud to have worked, and hopefully in the future we'll work with you again.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for inviting me onto the collaboration.
Of course. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.